I end up switching my lesson at the last minute, like I do a lot of times. So I decided I was doing another lesson all week till 10 o'clock this morning. But as the preachers say, I want to be led by the Spirit. And like I tell people all the time, it's my goal to teach what people need and not what I want to teach. So that's what I strive to do. And the Lord led me to switch to this lesson. And it might be kind of in line because, you know, you got what's called Black History Month going on, which I really don't even do lessons for Black History Month anymore. I got wore out with that years ago. So I don't even plan around that. Even my teacher, Brother Bowie, he'd still do lessons, but he really don't like it. He just kind of locked into it. He's been doing it so long. We talked this week. It just, he don't like it. He say it all the time. Because really we don't agree with Black history. He's just taking the time to deal with Israel during this time. You know, Black history is something that man has concocted. So, but the fact remains that we teach Israel about who Israel is and their condition all year round. We teach that all year round, and that do need to be taught. It do need to be understood. So that's the real reason why some people take advantage, like my teacher, take advantage to do some lessons doing Black history, because it's all about Israel and the importance of them. And most people don't know that. They don't know that Israel, who Israel is, where they are now, and the importance that they hold to God. But like I said, I don't really deal with it because it's so much other stuff to teach. And I haven't done a lesson about Black history during February. The lesson I did about Israel was in January. And this lesson really not Israel. I'm going to take advantage of it and do a lesson about Israel's brother Esau. So that's a lesson we're going to do today. So really, you can't even say this is about Black history, because Esau ain't black, per se. But Esau is one of the most important individuals in the Bible, and yet nobody knows about Esau as a whole today. Nobody pays attention to the prophecies about Esau today. Esau is too prominent to have just disappeared and not be around anymore. He's too prominent in the Bible. All the way from Genesis, and I'm talking all the way to Revelation, the Lord is still talking about this individual which produced a nation named Esau. He's still talking about him. So we're going to look at Esau today and show that he is yet to be dealt with by the Lord. He is actually the one that says that he is a Jew nowadays. Just like you got people over in the promised land fighting over the promised land. You got the ones that say they is a Jew, and then you got, we know the Arabs are fighting over the land. Well, again, all these people come from Abraham. Because Abraham had two sons at first. He had some more later. But he had two sons at first. He had Ishmael and he had Isaac. Well, Ishmael is where the Arabs come from. And they not what you would call white people, what people call Gentiles or Europeans. They different too. But that's where the Arabs come from. They come from Ishmael. Well, they still around over there right now today fighting over the land, right?
That's right.
So then Isaac, Abraham's other son, who the blessing went to, the blessing went from Abraham to Isaac, not Abraham to Ishmael. Even though Ishmael was his son, and he can get some blessings in the end, but it's going to be all a part of what the Lord is doing with Isaac. So the blessing went from Isaac, his son. He had two sons, Esau and Jacob, which we're going to read about. He had two sons. And both of them are still around to this day. Esau is the one over there fighting Ishmael for the promised land. And the Bible lets you know clearly where Jacob is. Jacob is the one scattered in slavery all over the place. Don't even know he got a land. That's what the Bible lets you know. It's clear. But we're going to take a look at it. And we're going to start off in Genesis, the 25th chapter, where the Lord mentioned this at, where these two sons were born. Genesis 25, and the title is Esau's Hatred Against Jacob. Plain and simple. And I went on to decide to do this because you have, when you talk about Israel, like, you got a lot of people talking about, that know about Israel. They talking about it during this month called Black History. But sometimes you get people saying that, well, see, y'all dealing with hate. You're dealing with hate. Look, this don't have nothing to do with hate. It just have something to do with facts. That's the only reason we would talk about Israel, Esau, anybody, because it's biblical facts. So it don't have nothing to do with hate. Matter of fact, now I know you got some Israelite brothers who call themselves Israel. They run around talking hate and talk about, nobody's going to be saved but Israel. But that's only a minute amount of people, and they just don't understand what they're dealing with. So I know you got those brothers out there, but as a whole, the Bible still say what it say. So regardless if they off base some, mad at somebody for what they done went through and what they forefathers done went through, that's on them. That still don't change the perspective of the Bible, and it don't change that God has scattered Israel into slavery, and that Esau has replaced Israel. None of that don't change. And I know some of these brothers real confused because they don't even know the difference between Esau and just Europeans or Gentiles.
That's right.
I say that is utter confusion. Because they call Esau, well, see, Esau, the white man did this to us. Look, Esau is different from just an ordinary Gentile. That's what they need to understand. We're going to read where Esau came into being here in Genesis, the 25th chapter, and the Gentile had been in the being since Genesis 10. That's where the Gentiles started at, the Gentile nations, a whole lot of Gentile nations, European nations, a whole lot of them. Not just one. Well, that all began in Genesis 10. How you going to say that Esau is the European? Look, Esau is totally different. And he know that. I'm going to be honest with you. I talked to some, what we call Jews, some Edomites. I talked to them personally. And they talked to me about the white man. Because they know I understand. They said, well, I can't stand the white man. Now if I didn't know no better, I wonder what the heck he talking about. He the white man. But now I know he ain't the same as a European. I'm just trying to make it plain to you. Right. I know he's different from a European. And since he know I knew, he would talk to me that way. He said, I can't stand. That's the one with the beanie on his head. That's what he had on when he was talking to me. He said, I can't stand the white man. I said, yeah, I know what you're talking about. But I know the difference between Esau and what we call white people.
Praise the Lord.
They started right here in Genesis 25. The Europeans been around since Genesis 10 when he named all the sons of Japheth in Genesis, the 10th chapter. So, but a lot of brothers, they don't even understand that. And they call themselves mad at somebody. It ain't no reason to be mad at nobody because our forefathers sinned and got us in this predicament. So again, we just tell them the truth. We don't hate nobody. Matter of fact, the Bible, now you going to say you Israel. The Bible say don't hate Esau, or Edomite in Deuteronomy 27. He said you should not abhor a Edomite because he is your brother. So I ain't hating nobody. But I tell you who is doing some hating on the real end, who going to do some hating. God going to do some hating in the end to everybody, black, white, blue, or green, who don't get their act together. But he do tell you he got some specific hatred for Esau. Because he's going to deal with Esau for what he has done. So that's ironic that you have people change the table when you preach the truth out the Bible. They say, oh, you preaching hate. You say, Jesus was black and Israel was black. They want to accuse you of hating and starting. Look, it's just the truth. I don't hate nobody. I'm just going to tell you the truth. And that's just the way it is. We're going to start off Esau's hatred against Jacob because that's who really been showing the real hatred. Esau been showing the real hatred. He been doing Jacob in since they were born, basically. He been doing Jacob in. So that's ironic that, they would turn around and say some brothers hate. Even the brothers that's talking crazy, that's calling themselves hating the white man, they ain't going to bust a grape. You ain't even got to worry about them. They ain't going to do nothing. The Bible say Israel roar like bears, but mourn like doves. They ain't going to do nothing. And they not doing nothing. They walk around talking about, I hate this, we hate this. Look, they ain't doing nothing. The real hatred has been portrayed. And even you should if you're another nation, you should be able to have a little mercy on them because you can see, like I think this Gentile years ago, he did a thing about the Muslims. you know, and how the Muslims, because that's where, you know, that's the same old Israelite doctrine. The Muslims one and the same, where they, you know, they say we hate the white man is the devil. So they did this thing, the Muslims doing this thing about, you know, how wrong the white man is, because that's all they want to talk about. But anyway, I think it's what, Mike Wallace or Chris Wallace, one of them old ones, years ago, he did a thing about the hate that hate produced. So at least he admitted where their hatred is coming from somebody else's hatred. See, nobody never want to talk about that. Yeah, they hating, but at least, you know, they've been hated against in the first place. So at least he acknowledged that. He said it's the hate that hate produced. Because he understood where the reason why the Muslims and all these Hebrews had got this hatred, because they had been hated. And the Bible says Israel had been hated. But see, I don't hate nobody because I know this came from God. Only thing I'm trying to do is save myself. And if anybody listens, they can get saved too, because I'm just going to show you what the Bible says. Esau's hatred against Jacob. We're going to look at some hatred, though. Esau's hatred against Jacob. Genesis 25, and pick it up at verse 19. Genesis 25 and verse 19. Okay, go ahead, brother.
And these are the generation of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife.
See, now this is some history here, but again, we're going to mainly focus on Esau's history, because we're going to show you that Esau is the one that claimed to be a Jew to this day. He's still around, and the Lord is going to have to address him when he come back. The same one that's, we're going to find out that got born right here. But he took it back to the beginning. He said, these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Now, again, I already pointed out, which you can read early in this chapter, that Abraham had another son called Ishmael, which is from where the Arab brothers come from. So all of it's right here. Now, again, this is Genesis 25. What we call Europeans had been around by now, since Genesis 10. See, the Lord was constantly making nations as time went on. So he started the nations after the flood in Genesis 10 and made different languages in Genesis 11 at the Tower of Babel. So you had different nations, different languages back then, right? Now, years later, when Abraham come on the scene, the Lord is still making nations, because now he's getting ready to make two more here. He had already made an individual nation with Ishmael. Now, it said, these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begot Isaac. Verse 20.
And Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Padanaram, the sister of Laban, the Syrian.
Go ahead.
And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived.
Okay, now his wife couldn't conceive. She didn't take no fertile stuff. They just sought the Lord, and the Lord dealt with it. But go ahead.
And the children struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Okay, now it was more than one child, and they struggled. So she said, is this meant to be? Why is this going on? And she went to get some counsel, and she got some counsel. But go ahead.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
Now again, right here, you got 2 more nations about to be born into this world. You already got a litany of nations from Genesis 10. Ham and the sons of Ham made all kind of nations, black races, Ethiopians, Egyptians, Canaanites, all of them you saw them in Genesis 10. But now here we are way down in Genesis 25. You're still getting more than that. That shows the Lord made all of us from just 2 individuals. Really going back to Adam and Eve. He made all these nations, colors, race. That's why color ain't no big deal. Like you have some people say sometime, well, you know, you talking about Israel is black. You know, it really don't matter. I said, no, it really don't matter. But it do matter if you think it's another color. If you think they're another color, that's why it needs to be pointed out. But overall, it don't matter. Because no matter what color you are, you still got to sit on the toilet pretty much every day. It don't matter. No matter what color you are, you still got to eat. You still even, I don't care, you black, blue, green, or white.